everyone. Welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. And a reminder, there could be some things that we mention as we cover this episode that happen in future episodes of the show Felicity. Why, you ask? Because this is not a spoiler-free podcast, okay? I always try to mix it up how I deliver that, but it's at the end of the day, it's just not spoiler free. Okay. Face it. I am Melissa and I'm here with my fearless co-host Fish. Fish, how are you doing today?
I mean, good. Good. Little I would say a little sleepy, but I don't want to build people's expectations.
Yeah, because usually that means good podcasting, but I have to say we're a little
meh.
Yeah, we're a little bit meh. And I have to say, I feel like I warned you all last time that I don't know that I love a good egg. And on watching it again, I was confirmed in that. And I may go as far as to say this is my second least favorite episode of the entire show.
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. There's more Felicity to come. But I feel like when I saw this episode coming up, I was like, oh, boy. So where I'm normally your optimist and Fish is normally your cynic, I think it's going to even out a little bit this time.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be less balanced and more toward
piled
the
upon.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's your setup. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about season 3, episode 8, A Good Egg. Hey, if you liked A Good Egg, you're probably going to hate this podcast. Original air date was November 22nd, 2000. Boy, that would have been real close to Thanksgiving. Why didn't they just do a Thanksgiving episode, you might ask? It's occurring to me just now. All right. Well, it was written by Keith Samples and directed by John Eisendrath. Here's the episode description. After spending time with his infant nephew, Javier decides to have a child and asks Felicity to donate an egg that his aunt would carry to term for him and his male partner. Noel tries to kiss Jane and discovers that her heart is set on another man.
Really? That's what happened?
It did. I mean, look, I'm so beside myself, Fish. Where do you want to begin?
Well, I'm trying to remember what I predicted last time. Did I predict an Easter egg hunt?
Is
that what I said? Because I feel like I get half points for that. Because this was, in fact, a hunt for an egg.
Here's the thing. Like, why would you have guessed that Felicity would consider donating an egg? This is not a thing people do in college, to my knowledge. I don't understand. Of all the things you're going to educate people about,
yeah, this
entire plot line is preposterous.
Well, I do feel like maybe if you're going to sell an egg, it could be to pay for college. But I feel like it's a little older than this usually. Like in your early 20s.
I would guess so. If you're really strapped for cash, this might be a thing that you do. But the way this whole episode is set up, give Javier a friend who's not in college who wants to do this for him. Like,
well, and that's the other thing.
How a topic like this could be a bottle episode. I mean, it's not entirely a bottle episode, right? Because the stuff that's happening around this plot is stuff that's been carried, like it has a history before this that might carry on after some of this stuff. But the egg piece, Javier, if I'm remembering correctly, Javier is never going to have a child.
Oh. Okay.
So I just wanted to add that level of frustration to whatever you may be feeling because
Yeah, that's
um,
sad.
in one episode, they're like, he suddenly wants a kid. He's going to lightly pursue it. And then he's going to drop it entirely. And Felicity is going to consider upending her life to
Hmm.
basically, I don't know if you would call your, I guess you're a mother of this kid at that point, like if you've donated the egg,
Hmm.
with a kid that she'll see all the time.
Yeah.
Except that kid's not going to exist because they don't want that kid on the show.
Well, that's what I was like. If they actually had this happen, then they would have to have a child on set,
Right, they're not going
and
to.
they don't want to.
That's not the thing that they're trying to do
Yeah.
here. They were just,
No.
I feel as though somebody was auditioning for another show, like a writer or a director or somebody was like, I really want a job on a show about people in their 30s or 40s.
Mm.
And
Well, the women have to be pretty young because the eggs, you really do have to be like 20s or early 20s when you're donating the egg.
yeah. Okay. Well, there you
Um,
have it. Felicity is 20. Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But yeah, people pay a lot for this. So yeah, let's just take it in order because
Sure.
Felicity's doing her thing. She is she is stacking stuff at Dean and
She's
DeLuca's. This
stacking again.
time
Yeah.
it's croissants.
Yeah.
But more stacking. Good
when
good for
I
her.
when I used to do improv on a regular basis, I have a friend, my friend Ponch. He's gonna get name dropped here because he's a lovely person, one of my favorites. He always used to because when you start off a scene, like one of the things that you can do is you can like mime something, like you're doing an activity or you're doing something. And Ponch, it just became a running joke. Ponch would always start by like wiping off a counter in some undisclosed location, but every scene, Ponch would just be wiping off a counter. And it became this thing. And then there was, going to be other stuff that happened and like, more conversation. But for a while, it was like, oh, he's counter wiping again. And I always think about that when I see Felicity stacking now, because it's like, just do something with the set. Like do something with the props, but find a way to use the scene, the environment. And so Carrie Russell like goes over and starts stacking cookies or something with her
Yeah.
little tongs.
But this time it's croissants,
This time it's
which look
croissants.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yes, she continues to stack and not so sadly,
This time, not sadly. She
It's
does it
not
with
sadly.
different emotions, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate her range.
Yeah.
Um,
um, but everything else that happens in this scene is a little frustrating. So
yeah.
Noel is there because, because Ben was beaten up. And although Ben seems to be fine now, Noel's still covering for his shifts.
I know. I'm like,
So
what?
that's cool. I mean, we had established that Noel was covering for these shifts, but now that Ben is fully functional, I'm a little less like, when is Ben going back to work?
Yeah.
But so
His
Noel's
arm's fine. His arm is fine. His face is fine. He's good.
he's okay. Yeah, but nonetheless, be that as it may, Noel is covering for Ben on his Dean and DeLuca shift. And he's using this as an opportunity to get information from Felicity that he can feed directly into his budding relationship with Jane.
Like directly, word for word, almost. I mean,
I'm a little confused what Felicity thinks is happening at this point because we find later that she's just discovering that Noel's stalking Jane. So what she thinks is happening in this scene, we might have to unpack that a bit because he asks her for a quote on Jeff Koons. The Met is doing an exhibit on Jeff Koons. Jane had written to her friend in an email that she wants to go see it. And so Noel's trying to study up on Jeff Koons to figure out what he wants to say about that artist. And he asks, knowing that Felicity's an artist, he asks Felicity for a quote about what that could mean. And Felicity plays along and gives it to him. But Fish, what is she what does she think this is right now?
I mean, all she says is something like, "Oh yeah, what's her name? Sean told me about her." But Sean, we know, later we find out that he doesn't know what's been going on. Um, so it sounds like he's just,
She just thinks he's trying to impress a girl.
yeah,
Okay.
that's my thought.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm a
Um,
little confused. I don't know. Her sentence is weird because what I know of Jeff Koons is he makes like huge 3D sculptures of, yes, balloon animals, mostly dogs.
what?
Yeah. That's his
This
thing.
show is right up your alley.
Um all about it. All about it. Just
Well, of
that's
course
his
you know
thing.
Jeff
That's what
Koons.
he does. But like this whole mundane arts thing, I don't know. I don't know, mundane objects. I'm like, but all he does is big dog balloon
Well,
animals.
maybe she thinks big dogs are mundane objects. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this. I mean, you just like at least tripled my knowledge of Jeff Koons.
I mean, if you
So,
think about, like, you've probably seen these like around. They're big shiny balloon animal dogs.
okay.
If that doesn't ring a bell, then I
No,
guess you've never. Okay.
it doesn't ring a
Well,
bell.
look these up afterward because they're amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, so she's going to give this beautiful sentence to Noel, who actually, all right, we'll see later. He doesn't bungle it. Um, and then all of a sudden, there's a baby
Javier comes in with a baby. It's his
and
nephew Isaiah.
balloons and a baby.
Wow, it seems like you were really activated in this scene in ways that I was not even aware of.
I mean,
There's,
I enjoyed what happened after this. So go ahead and give us the setup. And I will say I did enjoy this one part.
I mean, Javier shows up with this baby. There's cooing that happens. He's like, Noel, watch this kid while I talk to Felicity. And then he has this whole conversation with Felicity where he's like, this has really ignited my maternal flame. But I guess I appreciate that the people who were writing this episode understood that this is something they've never told us about Javier before. So they would say things like, we've been thinking about this for a while, which can't even really be, right? Because how long did it take him even to have a conversation with Samuel about going to school? You
I
know,
know he's doing it all, isn't he?
he's really doing the most, if you will. And so it's like this isn't something that you just drop on people for one episode. And like I would think that people who are going through a process like this have spent a lot of hours, a lot of time, like a lot of research, that they've explored options, that they're really um I would think this would be a whole thing to unpack.
Yes.
And
They didn't want to do that though.
they
I mean,
didn't.
would
They
you have
just
wanted that though? Would
No,
you
I
have?
didn't even want this.
Yeah,
It makes
correct.
less
So,
sense to me that they would have one episode where you tell us a character that you love, that you've seen a lot, who has never spoken about this once, suddenly has this huge, very important, very responsibility filled desire and wants to pull Felicity. Like I don't feel like Javier talking to, maybe my problem here is that I don't feel like Javier talking to Felicity about this should be the first time she's even heard that he wants a kid. You know, it should be like, oh yeah, I know you've been doing this for so long. You've been trying this thing and this thing and this thing.
mhm.
Oh, now you're coming to me. Like for the whole reveal to happen all at once, where he's like, we want all of this to happen and it's on you. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, you would think as her being his friend, she would have information about this whole process that they've gone through to get to this point, and that's where the wanting to help would come from. That's just not what we got.
No, it's not. And it is a little upsetting that we're never going to hear about this again. It's also not upsetting.
I know, right?
Just from a like, I don't love this storyline perspective, but I will say, so few things that I loved. First of all, Noel's monkey face.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So he's trying to distract Isaiah, Javier's nephew, and Javier's just like, be a monkey. He likes a monkey. And so like Noel's like, okay, and just does a bunch of monkey faces, and it's just amazing.
It felt right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And okay, well, let's talk for a sec about this follow-on conversation where Javier's maternal flame is lit up. I will say I did like this line where he was like, you know, will you have a baby with me? You have my favorite jeans. I don't mean Jordache. And
Jordache isn't around anymore, right? That's been a while since. Is that really dating us?
I think that is.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Jordache in so long, but that was a really popular
huge
jeans company. That was a major. It was like Levi Strauss and then Jordache and Guess. I feel like I knew those three brands like were very popular at that time.
Yeah, I was always like Old Navy.
Yeah,
it's cheap and I can get it. And
I was whatever pants would fit over my gymnast thighs. Like that was the dictating factor. It is a struggle, folks.
Yeah.
They don't make pants or they didn't make pants for people who have like athletic figures.
Yeah, agreed.
That's not a thing.
Well, especially because with water polo, you know, we're constantly treading water. And so like in and out of season, we would go up and down like 2 different sizes in pants.
Yeah.
And so I was like, always get the stretchy pants.
So. Yeah, curvy was a blessing for me. It was a real blessing. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I definitely the idea here is lovely. And the thing is, it's not as if they've never had Felicity consider something radical. You know, I mean, the whole green card marriage idea comes up for me, which again was a 1 episode story.
And is referenced here again.
At least a couple times, right? In different ways. And I think, you know, the fact that I think somebody sort of said to the writers, it's not unusual for Felicity to consider impulsive things or do impulsive things. And so they just flat out wrote that in.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to explain this by saying that Felicity is empathetic and may consider a plea from Javier like this. And so he will make it.
Yeah, he will. And another thing that I at first enjoyed, but by the end of this episode, like if you feel the need to go back and watch this episode again, note the end of every scene, because most of them just end with people being shocked looking out into space. And so that's how this ends.
Which is a very soap opera thing to do.
Yeah, he just like drops this bomb. He's like, it's okay if you say no, but would you be the mother of my child? And she's just sitting there, shocked, looking out into space.
Yeah, and we're going to get a continuation of this thought when we get to the next scene, where, first of all, we're in the loft, and the drink fridge is going to play here. The one that Mandy was telling us about. We're going to get it prominently here. Ben's going to go into the fridge. He's going to grab a drink.
Mm-hmm.
It really is like the weirdest thing. Beautiful
Yeah.
though.
It's a beautiful fridge. It's got, she pointed out specifically, you can see right through it. And so this is the main fridge
It looks more
in
like
the
a
loft.
commercial vending machine type of situation than it does an actual fridge you'd have in a home. But here it is in their home, which is fun. It's very fun. And we're going to get Ben. So this is a Ben Felicity scene. Ben's telling Felicity a little bit about Al-Anon. He's just sort of,
Yeah.
I don't, it felt like he was even going too far with the generic things he said. I don't know, like he sort of was describing the overall vibe, but he didn't tell anything that people shared, and he didn't say Molly was there.
Well, you can't do that. I
Right.
mean, that's a big part of it. But like, here's another thing that I wasn't a huge fan of. They talk and show a lot about Al-Anon in this episode. Much of it not correct
Mm-hmm.
again. So
Okay.
I'm like, this was a very functional writer's room.
They were
Like
just
no,
trying to get it done.
yeah, like nobody was an alcoholic. Nobody had ever been to Al-Anon. Nobody knew what they were talking about.
Okay.
So like,
Well, we're
I'm like,
definitely going to
all
need
right,
your thoughts
that's
on that as we go through, because I wouldn't know like what
yeah.
things were unusual here, but uh I
Well,
mean,
he starts off talking about like his experience, but he says they. I enjoyed that little, he hasn't identified as part of them yet. He's like,
mm,
oh, it's these other people, it's a student group. And, he says, I can't really talk about it, outside of the meeting, which is not, I mean, it is actually true. You shouldn't be talking to other people because it's anonymous. I mean, it, I guess you can say certain things if other people can't be identified, but I think generally it's frowned upon talking with other people who aren't part of Al-Anon. But Felicity's like, sure, no problem. Like, just wondering, like, did you talk? He was like, no, it's my first meeting, and I think that seems pretty normal. I mean, he's just there to sort of figure out what's going on. Still
see if
glad that he's
it's,
going.
yeah,
And
see
then
if that's the
she's
right
just,
space for him.
yeah. And then she's just like, oh, like,
New topic.
by the way.
I just love how I actually really love Scott Speedman in this scene, like this part of it, because it's like she's just sitting there going, so Javier wants to have a baby with me.
Yeah.
No. So really, like, I'm supposed to harvest an egg, and then it matches, which is a sperm, and Ben's just like, what?
Yeah, he's just harvest? What do you
What?
what do you mean?
He's
It's like
looking notably uncomfortable
from the start.
from the very beginning.
And he's a little snarky about it. He's like very clearly not okay with this. He's like, you're not really gonna do this though, right? Like
I love the
this isn't
way
a
he delivered
thing.
that, because when he says you're not really thinking about this, are you? But he says it with that little twinkle, like Felicity often does consider stuff
Yeah.
like this. And there's a couple scenes that he'll have where you see him really nod to, like, I know you, okay?
Yeah.
Could you just, and she's sort of trying to justify it to herself, because she doesn't say in this scene that she is thinking about it,
No, she
but
specifically says, like she specifically lies. And I don't think this is like a she's lying to herself kind of thing. I think this is a Ben just came out like very clearly against it, and she just straight out lies to like not have the argument with him at that moment. She's like,
hmm,
"No, I'm not really thinking
I
about
think
it.
it
I'm
depends
totally
on where
thinking
you
about
see
it."
that turn, because to me, the moment that I felt that she was solidified in her decision was seeing the stork dust commercial.
Yes, but she she's thinking about it. she,
She's thinking about it. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think
but
she's
she
made a
says to him,
decision.
I'm not thinking about it. Like, I'm not even thinking about it.
Mm. She mentions to sort of grease the wheels for later. She's like, Javier and Samuel have been looking through a catalog to
Yeah.
find the potential donor, and she positions that like, how unsavory is that option, Ben? It's like, all right, I don't know.
That's a pretty normal process.
I would think
Yeah.
it would be. Yes. Thank you to
Yeah.
all the people who donate and are in that catalog.
Except for
Um,
Patty. Patty, you
except for
suck.
Patty. Patty, we don't like you, Patty. So all right, so that's set up, whatever that is. And then we're going to get, to me, probably the most interesting real thing that I could cling on to in this whole episode. The Tracy and
Yeah.
Elena stuff felt very real and very rooted to me, and very much their personalities. Um, so this, thank goodness for the, I mean, it's not fun, but this stuff resonated for me. It landed as like, oh, they've actually, the writers have met these characters before, and they're trying to tell us a story that will carry the thread of this came before it and will continue after it. Thank you again. We love you, writers, for including us, or I do. We'll see what you think. So Tracy and Elena, so they're both walking. Elena's trying to catch up to Tracy, and they get to a stairwell. Elena has no idea that at the end of the last episode, we found out that basically Finn revealed the affair he had with Elena to Tracy by accident.
Yeah.
So Tracy
Oops.
knows now, but Elena doesn't know that Tracy knows. And so we're going to get that here, where she's like, oh, help me study. There's a test coming up, and she's trying to be all normal. And Tracy is so ice cold.
I don't
He's,
blame him.
I don't blame him either. This really resonated for me. And it really just shows you like, uh, the, I love the switch. We've seen him be this warm, competitive, drawing Elena out version of himself for so long. And then you see him just shut down. And it's like, this is what it looks like when you betray Tracy. Like he can
Yeah.
only go so far.
I mean, he's not, I don't know. At some points, like he definitely, when he's speaking and he gets snappy, um, I feel it when he, you know, but sometimes it's so he, I feel like maybe he was just younger in this, but he doesn't have the, I don't know, I don't want to say ability, but he doesn't hold the ice cold expression very well because
Okay.
I'm looking at his face and I'm like still smiling because
Oh
it's
no.
him.
Well, okay. I mean, he's a lovable guy.
He
And you have
is.
a lot of good connotations with him. But I mean,
Yeah.
here, when you actually look at, he's not gonna spend any amount of time playing along with this. Elena obviously
Yeah.
doesn't know that he knows, and he just turns around. She's like asking him to study, and he just says, "Finn told me
Hmm.
about you and him." It's just like, we're not. I'm not gonna do this charade. He's asking her to stop playing dumb. He won't let her spend any amount of time wasting his time denying this.
Hmm.
Um, he's, but Elena's apologizing. Sorry, Elena's apologizing, and he really shuts this down with bitterness. I think the couple lines that really struck me with him were towards the end, where he says, "You had your sex now."
Yep.
And I was like, oh,
Hope it was worth it.
yeah, I hope it was worth it. And then when she says something, and she's still trying to, sort of get through to him and apologize, and she makes the mistake of calling him baby. And he
Yeah.
says, "Who are you calling your baby? I am not your baby."
Yeah. That was rough.
Ah,
But I also felt like she didn't do a really good job of apologizing. And I I mean, I maybe it was just because this sort of hit her out of nowhere. Plus, it's a really awkward place in the
In
middle of
public.
the
Yeah.
stairwell to try to apologize. But it felt like her heart really wasn't in it. She was trying to justify, but she didn't really seem, I don't know, like that I don't know, desperate to like be with him. I didn't get a lot of emotion out of her.
I definitely got
Um,
shock with her. And I
yeah.
think if you think about in the prior episode where she was going to try to tell him this before he stopped her and read his poem, um, even then, she was really beating around the bush. She's like, it's been really great being in a relationship with you. It's like, what's
hmm
happening? Where are we going with this? And and that's when she was prepared to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess this is like, and to see just the very suddenness of his complete emotional reversal on her and to be on the receiving end of that. And it's like, he shut her down. And so she was shut down. I mean, I don't know. I would want after this to see her come back and be really thoughtful about her words and earnest.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense what she does in writing the letter. I just wish we actually found out what was in it. Because
Yeah.
that, I mean, those are the words we want to hear. But I will say for this episode, for this scene, I mean, she did have a great outfit on and her hair. They figured this out, this whole, you know, beautiful braided on top, which they tried to do earlier and it did not work out. So like she's looking good, but it doesn't matter.
It's
She,
not going to make a dent.
yeah, I don't know what she expected,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I can't fault Tracy for any of this. I mean, I would have done the same thing. It's like, no, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're done. Like I'm done with you.
Yeah.
That's it. The end.
Yeah. Uh, well, we're certainly going to get more squirming here, that's for sure. So,
On
speaking of
to a less
squirming,
believable plot.
yeah, Jane and Noel, they're coming back from watching. She must have taken him to an Aboriginal dance troupe performance.
hmm
And you can see that Noel wasn't really digging it. They're walking away from the place, having a debrief of it. And he's like, well, it looked like a lot of he
Dancing?
basically his highlight was somebody twisting their ankle and limping off the stage, which he didn't realize was an accident. He just isn't, he is not on the same page. And he takes the moment to like sort of bend down, go into his bag, and there's that Met button, the admissions button that you get when you've gone to the Met,
Yeah,
and he makes sure she can see it.
that's the thing. Like he's getting way too good at this.
Yeah,
It's creepy.
it's really
And
creepy.
it's super creepy. And the way he delivers Felicity's line about the mundane objects,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, dude, you're getting way too good at this.
He's getting good. He's getting on. And I will say the one thing that is consistent about him here is that this is not the first time that he's ever, if this is maybe like the fifth time that he's taken somebody else's words verbatim and delivered them to his partner or attempted partner or hopeful partner. Um, and yeah, so in this situation, she's like, wait a minute, Coots too? Like, you've been to the Met? Hold on. This is just weird. I just emailed a friend about this yesterday. How did this happen, Noel?
I know. He on the one hand, he is getting very like stealth and good at this. On the other hand, he is constantly just messing up. Like he's
Yeah.
beginning to stumble. Um I mean, she is kind of catching on, but at the same time, he's able to explain it away every time. She's
We
like,
had
why do we have
more.
so much in common?
Yeah.
He's like, fate, luck, meh.
Yeah. And then a couple times in this episode, so he goes in to try to kiss her. She's like keeping her distance from him in a notable way, and she's like, no, 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 it's there's somebody else. Like it's an old friend, but I don't know. And Noel's like, I know. She's like,
Yeah, I know, right?
what?
What do you mean you know?
And then he does the classic. I was just watching a movie yesterday where they it was sliding doors,
Oh, I
which
love that.
it was okay. It was
Really?
very 90s.
I haven't seen it since the 90s. I liked
Yeah.
the idea of the plot in the 90s, which is really all I remembered.
I thought it was interesting the way they did it. Um, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a Gwyneth Paltrow movie, and it just sort of portrays like how things would play out for her if she did or didn't catch a train at a certain time. And I thought it would be, I was curious when I saw them set it up. I was like, how are they going to make this so I understand which which timeline we're living in? And it was actually pretty simple to follow. Well, not simple, but it was easy enough to follow. I thought they were
Hair.
clever about how they did it. They did hair, they did a
Yeah.
bandage at one point. Um,
They do a lot of split screens with that movie, which I enjoyed.
yeah. So I mean, but again, they had a character in it who was basically doing repeats of these no lines. It was like, well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, of course you would have had like somebody because you're this amazing woman. It's like, red flag, red
Yeah.
flag.
I mean, he's like, oh yeah, I know about the other guy. And she's like, wait, how do you know? He's like, no, no, no. I know how that feels.
mhm,
Like I know that situation, how it
sure.
must feel.
Mm,
And then she just goes in for like the 1-2 punch. She's like, I don't want to mislead you. I think honesty is really important between us. And Noel's like, yeah, me too.
mhm.
Totally. Yes, honesty. That's a
Yeah.
thing we're doing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now cut to Felicity in her
Oh my
apartment
goodness. Oh my
watching
goodness.
a
Stork dust.
stork dust baby powder commercial.
I don't know if this stuff is real, but
I'm gonna guess
wow.
no. I don't know. I mean, this commercial is your classic like mama cub playing with it. Like it's just like the mama animals playing with the baby animals and pulling at your heartstrings. It's like what was it, Sally Struthers who used to do all those like $1 a day feeds this child.
Yeah,
It was very much appealing in that same way. And Felicity's looking at it like, oh,
I know. She just all
oh.
of a sudden sees babies everywhere and just I don't know, her maternal flame is lit apparently for the next 35 to 42 minutes.
Yeah, exactly that amount of time. And the thing is, look, with the age that she is not around a lot of babies, okay?
No.
And if she were really that interested, wouldn't she have taken a more vested interest in Ruby?
I mean, that was awkward though. Like there was a whole other thing.
I guess so, huh? I don't know.
But plus there was no baby at that point.
There was just a mother
Maybe
having a
when
baby.
Ruby comes back with her baby.
Sure. Sure. So Ben comes in,
Yeah.
and the thing is, Felicity was just wound up by seeing this stork dust baby powder commercial. So he comes in and she's like, I don't agree with you. I actively don't agree with you. And Ben's like, what is
What?
happening right now?
What? And she's like, look, there are ads. People are getting $50,000 for egg donations. And he's just like, are you thinking about it? Like, really? Have you thought this through? Because I have. And
I thought he said he hasn't.
oh, I thought he said I have. Because I mean, he has. He starts, like, as they go on, he starts listing off all the reasons. He's like, I feel like he just keeps um he's not expressing himself very well at first, but the
Well, and
things
we're
he
gonna,
starts with here, he
yeah,
finishes with later. He explains, like he says here, you know, Javier, the baby's half you, you're impulsive, all this stuff. And then later he explains, you know, this is the reason that that is an issue.
yeah. I think in a later conversation we'll see that he was triggered on it for himself for a different reason. But the reasons that he is presenting to her here are actually, if he was going to try to get this across the line, if he was going to try to get his point of view across the line, it's probably better that he articulated this stuff rather than what
Yeah.
was really driving him. I think that's good that that came up later. But the fact that he says, you were going to see this baby
Mm-hmm.
all the time, like,
Mm-hmm.
there is no separating yourself from this situation. And like, you'd be the mom, like whether or not you were supposed to be, because you're around this kid, you'd be the mom. And I think he's really driving at that point, which is something that it doesn't seem as though she's thought about.
Yeah, even though she says, I have thought it through. This is not impulsive. It's not impulsive this time. And he knows. He
Yeah.
knows her.
I enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite exchanges of this whole episode. You do these things impulsively sometimes, he says. She's like, well, this isn't one of those times. It's like, you sure? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so it
Perfect.
was a little on the nose. I really enjoyed those lines because the writers needed to put stuff like that in there for us to believe that we would be going on this ride with them for an episode.
Yep.
But it also was true. So it's
Yep.
in this very meta way. It's like, well, you were written into a corner. And also, it's true to her personality that in the past she has done some impulsive stuff. And he knows that about her. He knows her very well. And they just have to say it directly to us so that we believe the rest of the plot that's happening around it.
Yes. I mean, it's one of those, I think they're kind of not so much making fun of themselves, but just like calling out something that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. Because she is
But
impulsive
we're
and
gonna
she agrees with it
we're gonna head
eventually.
from here to her locking in on this choice, and she's gonna go to
But
Dean and DeLuca.
she's gonna do it wearing the red jacket that I love.
Oh, fun! All
Right.
right, very cool. Well, so she's a Dean and DeLuca. Javier's brother is giving him a bunch of lip. He's
Yeah.
or at least he's telling the story about how critical his brother was about the baby idea.
And he thinks the kid will be bullied, which fair enough in the 90s. He would be, or she would be.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, thank goodness we've come so far.
It's so tough with this little anecdote that they threw in here because, I mean, I do think it gives you a sense of the time that we're in and sort of what his family's reaction might have been. But again, this shouldn't have all been one episode. Why is everybody now just finding out about this deep? It's not like, oh, I'm thinking about starting up fly fishing. It's like, I'm
It's a
gonna
huge
take on,
life-altering
yeah,
thing.
this huge amount of responsibility that directly impacts somebody's life forever,
Hmm.
and mine and my partner's. And why is everybody like, I appreciate that they're trying to add this stuff in to try to convince us that this is really what's happening in Javier's world. But if this were really happening in Javier's world, this just would have been such a long-term thing. I don't know.
I mean, it seems like Samuel and him have been doing the work. They just haven't told anyone about it. They have been looking through the catalogs. They've figured out the process. They've talked about it. They want someone close to them, but
Mhm.
they haven't told other people.
Yeah, guess so.
You know,
But Felicity
fine.
is going to save the day and she's going to say, I'll donate. And then they
Yeah.
hug. And then they're family.
Yeah. Well, she's giving them a family.
Just giving them a family. I mean, okay. This is how
Yeah.
it went down with the green card marriage too
It
proposal.
did. Yeah.
For being fair. Okay.
And
There's precedent.
I enjoyed the next scene as well because it's Felicity on the phone with her mom trying to explain what's happening. And the whole scene is just Felicity's mom through the phone that we hear on Felicity's side telling her that she's crazy.
Yeah, we can't
And
actually hear Barbara Porter, but we can hear
yeah,
Felicity. Of course, I trust him.
yeah,
Okay, I'll listen to your reasons again. It's just like, what Barbara's saying,
you're
you
crazy.
know?
What are you doing? Don't
Yeah.
do this.
Look, just because Javier fanboyed out over her when he met her doesn't mean that she's going to sign off on this as a mom?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
ugh.
she wasn't that interested in him when he was fanboying all over
She really
her.
wasn't. She's like, I think I've heard your name, but this is
Yeah.
not as exciting as it is for you.
No.
Um,
And then
so,
we get Molly saying, I think it's wonderful. And I'm assuming going to a meeting and lying about it.
yeah, I'm off to a movie, but she's going
Yeah.
to a meeting. We'll find out in a minute. Um, and that's everything we get in that scene.
The end.
Yeah, I mean, look, they were getting from here to there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's helpful to establish that Molly could have been covering for herself anytime she's ever gone anywhere, except we haven't really heard her say she's going anywhere ever.
Nope.
So okay, she's comfortable to tell lies to her roommates. All
Mm-hmm.
right, there's that. We're getting that information. Um, all right, so the use of documentary style was sparse here, but it happened.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought this is a great moment
yeah,
because what we have here is two guys both being super creepy.
yeah,
One of whom will call the other one out. And it's like, so Sean is filming and he's coming up behind Noel, who is reading Jane's emails.
yeah.
So we've got Noel reading Jane's emails, and then you've got
Sean.
imagine Noel was reading his own emails. Sean not only would have been reading Noel's emails, he would have been filming them.
Correct.
So, I mean,
this is a lot of layers of creepy, but Sean's going to see Jane Scott's name on the computer screen and he immediately knows what's happening and he flips out. It's like, this is a felony. This doesn't work. This isn't okay. You're reading her emails. And so Noel's like, stop filming this. And so you see Sean, he puts the camera down, but you can still hear the whole conversation. So his camera is still on.
Yeah, but he's like, it's a felony and a great hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's all that. And Noel keeps trying to confirm if the camera's off. And then when he feels relatively confident that it is, which he has no reason to feel that way,
No.
he starts to divulge what he's been learning. And he's like, yeah, it turns out, Jane has this friend named Tricky in Florida, or that she met in Florida. I'm not really sure. I think he said met in Florida. And then, like, she's going to be volunteering at this old age home. And he's just sharing with another person all this information he got by doing something he shouldn't be doing.
He's the way that he talks about it. He's like, now I'm competing with this guy, Tricky. It's not just she knows him. It's like, I'm competing with him. And so, I need I need to see that film because I've now logged out. I don't know why I can't just log back in, but he's like, "Oh, I need to get the address to the old age home so that she volunteers at so I can go volunteer there." And Sean's just like, "You're sick. You have a problem. This is an issue." And I was like, "Oh, you're right. You're right. This is just wrong." And he starts advancing on Sean. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, "You're absolutely right." And and then he just grabs the camera. He's like,
Yeah.
"I must know where." And apparently he gets the address. Because we'll see him there in the next scene. But like he's done this several times where he
Yeah.
just fully admits that he's like wrong in doing this and then just continues to do it.
So the thing is, that kind of thing exists. There are people whose brains are wired that way in the real world. I've met some of them. I've hated it every second of it. And I know it exists. It just doesn't feel like Noel to me. So I mean, I'm specifically thinking of a person that I knew at this place where I used to volunteer, and he was a bartender, and he was just too flirty with all of the women, just too flirty. And his wife worked there
Oh.
too, and they had like maybe an open marriage. But he would just be that guy who would sit in a conversation with you and be a little too weird and a little too flirty for a little too long. And then he'd say stuff like, yeah, I know it probably comes off as a little too much, but I just wanted to, it's like, it does. He would always
Correct.
preface with these things that were like, yes, that's exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Thanks for acknowledging that you're creepy as all hell. And then, like, he would say it as if by saying it, he diffused it. But it was like, no, I'm still feeling that way. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
And he was like that with everybody. And it's not the only person in my life that I've ever met that way. So it's like, what is that?
I don't know.
like, it's like to be self aware enough that you can label your actions.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just no conscience? Is it twisted morals? Is it like,
I feel like he can't help himself.
it's got
Like
maybe it's like an addiction?
yeah, it just feels like he's gone a little insane. Like he
I guess
just
so.
has gone off the deep end with this, like more so than Leon.
In a
This,
different way than Leon. I understood how we got to Leon. This doesn't make sense to me. I feel like, I mean,
I don't
have we
know.
seen this in the past with him being able to label something and doing it anyway?
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, if I think about him as an RA, I feel like a lot of the stuff that he did there was like, I'm following the RA rule book, or I'm
Yeah.
doing this, but I'm protecting your name, or like I
And
think he
even
was very aware of where the lines were with the rules. And
yeah. And even the stuff with like Hannah, he was honest about where he was going and like I have to see this through and all the yeah, this is a departure for him. But I do feel like he's also coming off of being pretty unstable. And
mhm,
so maybe this is just a continuation of that. Um, but yeah, he's lost it.
he's absolutely lost it in all
Yeah.
of the worst possible ways. I mean, this is so the next scene, we're going to actually see him at this home. I don't, is it an assisted living home, maybe, or a senior center? I don't know.
Yeah, he calls it
Um,
an old age home, which I don't think we do that anymore,
I don't
but
think we do
like
that anymore.
I don't know
I would
exactly
assume
what
it's
it would
one of
be.
those two things.
Yeah.
And he's playing chess with some guy named Howie, who he's been playing chess for maybe 20 minutes, and he's
Yeah.
decided to establish a rapport as if they've known each other longer.
Yes.
Um, and Jane comes in and she sees Noel for the first time ever at this place. Are you noticing a pattern here, Jane? Jane?
Yeah,
Jane.
she's getting suspicious. She's like, "Oh, this is too weird." And then he flips it on her. He's like, "Yeah, it is too weird. You're following me." Like, what's up with that? Not cool. And then she just looks at him and you can see her thinking, "This is weird." And then she just goes, "Okay," and sits down. And I'm like, "No, what is wrong with you, Jane? Continue with your suspicions. You are correct."
Yeah. So I'm going to throw my note from an optimist in here, which is going to seem really
Ooh,
counterintuitive for how we're talking
goody.
about this. Um, because also,
Helping old people.
well, they, because of what this story is, okay, yes, they've had to make Jane willing to look the other way too much, like far, far, far too much. But what an interesting person they've built for us over basically like what, three episodes. Um, she had, because they needed to have somebody who could be having a lot of different plans in a lot of different places that Noel has to discover. They have to make Jane a really interesting person. And so, like, Jane's got all of these different things that are part of her world. And frankly, none of our main characters have this much stuff going on in their world. You know, think about it. Jane's taking like a serious, what was it, math class or a
I think,
polynomial,
yeah, I think it's math, but it could have
like
been some
she's
sort of
taking this
physics.
huge math or physics class as like a very intimidating one as an elective. She's
Hmm.
focused on dance.
Hmm.
She's going to museums. She's volunteering at senior centers or whatever else this would be. You know, she's got all these varied interests and types of cuisine she likes. She's got this rich
Indian.
world of friends around her. She's always on the phone with a friend or talking about other friends. Like, she is this really fully fleshed out person that in three episodes, how did they even, like, it's just amazing to me. I want to know more about Jane. I want her rid of Noel entirely, and frankly, Richard as well. But like, if I think they've done a really interesting job with characters like Jane and Pam, where in
Do you
very
like
little
Pam?
time they gave us all this information about Pammy Pam
Yeah.
and made us really like interested in her. And then I think they're giving us a lot to hook onto with Jane. And I love that. I love that these women would have come in for a role that they were like, okay, you've got 2, 3 episodes tops with this, but we're going to make you cool. Like, we're going to give you a whole backstory. And this whole life. I don't know how often that really happens on a show, let alone with a woman character at this time. So yeah, I want to know more about Jane. We're not going to find out more about Jane, but I want to know more about her, and I want to know her in real life. I don't know. I think this is interesting.
That answers one of my big questions at the end. Guess she doesn't forgive Noel and give him a second chance. All right. Um, yeah, I mean, I like Jane up to a point. The point where she just kind of shrugs and says, "Okay, like whatever." Um, it, this just I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if it's her being naive or her like looking like thinking people are more honest than they are. No, I don't like that about her. It makes her seem not very bright. And
Yeah, I think
I
that's
just,
I think that's the other unfortunate thing they had to build in was that, her interest, like, we have to get through enough shared experiences with Noel and Jane that she has to let it keep going.
I
So they
guess.
set up a really interesting person. And then the downside of it is that they're going to have to make her be not suspicious enough.
Or
It's
at
like
all.
she's, but she's calling. She's like, this is weird. It is. This is every time she's seeing him in a new place. This is strange. And I think it's triggering a little for her, but it's not enough for her to take action about it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
yeah,
It seems odd to me that these things are not compounding.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is how this plot would work. Like they can't if if she sets a limit with him, the story's over. It's like so they're trying to keep it going as long as they can, and it sounds like they've gone on too long for you in terms of plausible
Yeah.
deniability.
Yes.
Um,
She either had to like not realize it at all, or, which again, I would question, or be like he's got to be better at covering because they're doing two things with him. They're like making him good at turning it on her, but at the same time he's messing up constantly.
yeah,
So it's like he's both great at this and not great at
really
this.
terrible. Yeah.
Um but anyway, so Felicity,
We're going to get our PSA portion of
yes.
the our educational portion of this episode, where Felicity is going to go to a woman who can give her information about the egg donation process.
Yes, she is a fertility counselor.
Yeah,
And Felicity's doing her research. And she walks in, this woman is breastfeeding, which clearly makes Felicity very uncomfortable.
yeah, she's really disarmed by this, and so, or
Like,
disarmed
are
isn't the word I
you?
want.
She's thrown off.
She's thrown off.
She's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Um, but like, are you ready to be a mother if you can't watch breastfeeding?
you know, you may ask yourself that many times in this episode. You're ready to be a mother if blank blank.
Yes.
Like dot dot dot. All any of the following conditions are true.
Yeah.
All of that would apply to Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get, and we've gotten stuff like this before, where we're gonna get this other character who comes in just to give Felicity tons of information.
Yep.
And so this woman's gonna be like, okay, you see, this is the amount of time. It's like all of this time, hormones, needles, more needles, more needles
Mhm.
after that, hot flashes, more needles.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
There are a lot of needles. For me, the most invasive part I think would be the vaginal ultrasound.
yeah,
That does not sound pleasant. But it's outpatient.
no.
I mean, hey, couple of hours, you'll be done. No problem.
And I guess if you're watching this scene, it might bring you back to the scene in Love and Marriage where the Javier starts telling her about, okay, so we're going to be married this amount of time, and then we can apply for the temporary visa, and then this amount of time, and then a year, and then as Felicity starts to really look at, because she had already said yes at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and then she started to get the details. I feel like she needs to start doing the reverse.
Very good. Yes. Figure
Mm-hmm.
out what this entails before you agree to it.
Correct.
Yes.
I feel
Good.
like it's a
Yeah.
simple thing that Felicity can do. Just flip the order
Yeah.
of the steps she has been taking.
I mean, a simple thing, but also very against her nature. So maybe
Also,
not that
very,
easy.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So Felicity's now going to go to Elena. She's like, ooh, so much I didn't know about all this.
Yeah.
Woof.
And she's just like, lots of needles. And Elena very pointedly says, if you think it's a mistake, don't do it.
Yeah.
And
Elena's in
Felicity
her own world
immediately,
right now.
yeah. But Felicity just says, oh, no, I'll do it.
But then look at this scary contract. And she starts reading some of the T's and C's, which, to be honest, seemed like very protective ones for her.
Yeah, I mean,
The one that
it's
she
a
was reading was
normal.
like, she won't have to pay money if any, like,
Yeah.
if the child is born with any sort of an illness or disease. It's like, sign that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, what are you?
she is giving up all rights and responsibilities
Yeah.
for the child.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what that looks like. So,
That looks like indeed.
but let's keep thinking about that. This is a child that you're going to see very often if you continue to
Yeah.
be friends with Javier.
That would be such a blurry line.
Mm,
Um, so, but then we turned the lens on Elena here because Elena's kind of sad right now. What's she
a
doing?
bit.
She's writing a letter to Tracy.
Hmm. And why? Because she slept with Finn. It was
Yeah,
the
she's
first
gonna
time
reveal that.
Felicity. Here's about it. She's just like, I've ruined everything.
Yeah. Yeah, Felicity hadn't known this. I guess Elena told Noel, right? But I
Yeah,
don't
because he
think
was
anybody
insane.
else, yeah. I don't think she had told anybody else, so she's revealing this information now.
And I like this moment here, although I don't think they took full advantage of it with the show. I think they could have done more with this
Hmm.
because Elena looks at Felicity and says, if you had actually slept with Randy, do you think Ben would have forgiven you? And Felicity does not answer that question. She just kind of
Yeah.
swipes it aside and says, "Oh, it'll work out with you guys, Tracy will come around." And so
But even if she had, the situations are not comparable to me. Like, I don't know.
aren't they? I mean,
I don't think they are because I mean, on the one hand, yeah, sleeping with somebody else, not good. I don't think that's good under any circumstance. But then like in Felicity's case,
she was blackout
she was
drunk,
blackout drunk
and
and
that's an excuse.
would have been taken advantage of versus Elena, like this wasn't an accident. Like there is no cushion for this blow for Tracy. Like there's
Yeah,
like
but I
this
don't
was
think
very
that
intentional. It was a more than one time thing to get to this point. She went on dates with him, she kissed him, she then slept with him all on separate occasions. She faked like she was really deceitful in this situation in addition to cheating on him. And I think in Felicity's situation, she if she had slept with Randy, she would have cheated on Ben. But I didn't see like the level of deceit from Elena is an added factor for me that makes it like uh, very insidious. And so it's like, I don't know what the excuse could be.
I don't I don't think getting drunk is an excuse. I mean, and we don't know that it necessarily would have been Randy taking advantage of her. He could have been as drunk as she was.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
like
I agree that I don't think either situation is good, but I don't think that I don't think this is the same situation. I
I don't
think
think it's
that,
exactly the same, but I do think it could have as big an effect because we have to remember for Ben, the whole alcohol thing, right,
mhm,
is an issue for him.
mhm.
And so, like, while it wasn't multiple occasions, that is like an additional issue
Yeah,
for
yeah,
him. And
very true.
so I don't know, I thought it was interesting that she didn't answer.
Mhm.
Um, and
Yeah,
then they didn't really do anything with that. So I don't know.
yeah, interesting. Well, okay, we're gonna head from here to a group meeting. I liked the camera work at the start of this. Um, Maybe I like a lot of this scene. I'll figure that out as we go through it. So they're going to show they're going to try to give us a sense of place here. We know it pretty much instantly that we're at a group meeting, but everybody's positioned in it seems to be a circle or a half circle, or the camera is panning around so you can see all the people in the group. and you're going to see Molly and then you'll see Ben. They're not sitting next to each other, but you'll see that they're both there. And I thought that was an interesting way to depict it that they don't often play with, where, they really kind of just the panning, getting
Yeah.
everybody's faces.
And I think this happens each time we see them in a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
They never just show us both of them. They show
Mm-hmm.
us one of them, and then the question is, so is the other one there? And it takes a second for them to get around to the other person being there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like some things about this scene. Again, I don't think that they depict Al-Anon very well.
Okay.
So yeah, feel like they should do a better job of that.
Well, I'll ask you like how you think it could be better. What happens here is Ben is going to share. We know from his prior conversation with Felicity and from actually watching the earlier meeting that he didn't share anything about his own life. And he does this time. And I think it's a very classic Ben. What he does choose to share is very limited. Um, it's blunt, but it's not. He's not spending a whole lot of time holding the conch, if you will. Like he's just going to get down to it. His dad's an alcoholic. He says, "I hate my dad." That's it.
Yep.
And he just doesn't have. It's very rare that we get full on speech Ben, and this is, I think, more typical of how he feels comfortable to communicate. So, but he did share. He's
Mm-hmm.
to me, I guess that's him starting to make the decision that he does want to be in this group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not just in observation mode anymore.
Although that is something you can do. You can just
Mm-hmm.
go and sit and listen. There's no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like how it started because the
Mm-hmm.
leader, Nikki, says something like, we're going to have brownies that someone has brought in. And um,
She said, "I hope you heal because I don't want to." There
gain
was an
10. Yeah,
implication that eventually you work your way out of meetings.
right. It's like you hurry up and heal so I don't gain 10 pounds. And I'm like, that's not really how it works. That's
Yeah.
not a, this is not a thing. This is not a let's, this is a support group
Mm-hmm.
for as long as you need it.
Yeah.
It's not like a hurry up and figure it out and like heal yourself. And no, no, no. That's, this is a lifelong like thing. If you need it, like again, but generally speaking, yeah. So and that comes back a couple of times. So I
Okay.
didn't love that. But I do like one that they're all holding pamphlets. And I like how Ben shares. I think he shares from a place of kind of anger, which is where
Mm-hmm.
I think he feels most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you just see Molly's face, which has an emotion on it, and I can't really tell whether it's like sadness or pity or she feels something,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Yeah. Molly.
Hmm.
Who is Molly anyway?
Yeah.
Molly is going to share about her boyfriend, James. And this is where, for me, it's like, has she always? So Molly shares about her boyfriend, James. And she's saying, "You guys, all this time, you've been for a while now telling me that I
Mhm.
need to break it off.
To protect
But
myself.
I couldn't break up with him." I think she says in this scene that it's been about a month, at least a month, that they've been telling her she should break it off, right?
I didn't write down the time, but she definitely says, yeah, you guys have been here, you've been telling me I need to protect myself and you know, need to break it off.
She reveals that he's using, he's using alcohol and drugs. He's also a bad influence on me. Which I interpret to mean that she has also been using, although she says it in tricky words.
Yeah, I mean, what she says is like, I need to protect myself, but he's going through some really bad things. So I can't break up with him. But because of those bad things, I guess, or just because he's an addict, he's using, and he's both drinking, and he's using drugs. And what she says is, he's a bad influence on me, which I agree. Makes it sound like she also has an alcohol and or drug addiction. And then she says, I'm addicted to an addict. And this is the start of something that I guess bugs me. And it doesn't mean that this doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure this happens. But like, if she is an addict, then she should be going to like AA and NA meetings and Al-Anon. And like the Al-Anon part of this is, to help people who have addicts in their life. You're not supposed to bring addiction stuff in, like your own addiction stuff, into that. Like, this is not the place for that. And again, I'm sure people do, but the leader should have said something.
There's going to be, maybe it happens in the next episode, or where Ben sort of takes it up with the leader of the group, and he's like, is this all we do? We just listen to each other talk about stuff, shit like this? And the leader is going to say like, well, you heard me mention that other group to her. Okay. So I think they will, it's not going to happen on screen, but it'll happen for us in that way.
Yeah.
But it's not in this episode.
But as I said,
she also didn't say it directly. Happens. So it's like,
not yet. She will later.
Yeah. Ben's going to hear all this. For me, the timeline of all this is where, like, it's like these writers, despite all the other obvious problems with this episode, these writers got the memo of here's where we're going with Molly. A memo that previous writers of previous episodes this season didn't have. So when you think about it, and I'm just looking back at my notes from some previous episodes. So the first episode, I'm trying to figure out when was the first time that we met Molly. Because I don't think it was in episode 1.
No, I feel like it was 2 or 3.
Yeah, so let's see here. Well, I don't have it I feel like it was actually written into the episode description. A new roommate moves in. This was episode 3, October 18th. And this one is basically 1 month later. When we met Molly, we got the bit about her mom saying, you'll find your love. We've watched her have this weird 2-episode thing with Richard going on.
Yep.
But all of this time, she's been going to this group, and they've been telling her to break it off with James.
Yeah. No, what? I don't. I feel like people can be very good at compartmentalizing. It's not that I don't believe this. It's that they spent the last month giving us hardly anything about her. So to me, she was just like this floating nothing. And it felt really creepy that she was like even in the apartment, because she wasn't saying anything about herself.
But then even with that, right? So let's say we've had 1 month of us knowing Molly in episodes. So if we've had 1 month, how, like, okay, in 1 month, she's been to enough meetings where they've been telling her that she needs to break it off. Would you, after 1 week of seeing somebody, go to a meeting and say, I've got a problem here? I feel like that would happen over a longer span of time. So I'm
Depends on
not.
how long she's been in Al-Anon. It depends on how comfortable she is with sharing. I don't, I mean, it sounded to me like she's been seeing this guy for a while.
So we're going to meet James, I think, in the next episode. He does not have a British accent.
Why would he?
He's in New York. I feel like she met him in New York. We're going to need to clarify that when we meet him. Because if my assumption is that she met James when she got to school and we only met her 1 month ago.
I see.
Even like just this storyline feels way too expedited to me. Like, how would you?
School probably started in September, right? So she may have moved in October, but maybe she had somewhere else to stay before that.
But the
And she could have been there
show,
over the
like,
summer because, you know, it's
yeah,
she's an exchange student, and I certainly did that when I studied abroad. Spent some extra time there. So like, sure, she could have known him for up to like 5 or 6 months before this, but I don't know. It does sound like someone she's been dating for years, but
it does, right?
yeah.
I just don't see how that's possible. So I'm going to have to listen really closely to what we get when they introduce James, which I guess they're sort of doing now. But
Yeah.
this feels, to me, it feels like before you go to get help, you simmer in a problem for some amount of time, right? Like you need to know
It
you have a
depends.
problem. And then it's like, does that happen? I don't feel like that happens after a week. So do you get, if it were 5 or 6 months, that would make a whole lot more sense to me. If it were 1 month and these people in group have been telling her for a while that she needs to break it off, that feels too rushed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Molly.
Guess we'll get to see some more of her.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really cluing
All
into
right.
those what they drop about James when we get him. Because with the things that I'm remembering, it's not enough to put this puzzle together for me. Um, so we're gonna get Jane and Noel.
Mm-hmm.
They are recounting the big chess game of 2000. And Jane's remarking again, oh, this is a lot to have in common. And she doesn't let him into her apartment. She's still being kind of like,
Yeah, she's like, I'm freaked out by this, you
mm-hmm.
know? And, eh, Noel is just, she's like, you know, uh, he tries to ask her out. And she's like, I've kind of got this thing with this other guy. And Noel's like, oh, yeah, I know. I mean, he just keeps
He
slipping
keeps doing
up
stupid
and
things like
not
this.
covering.
She's like, he's like, no, well, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, of course. They're
Yeah,
other guys, like obviously,
yeah.
everybody would think that. Just,
And then he starts walking away, and she's like, oh, yeah, okay, I will go out with you. I'm like,
yeah,
what is wrong with you?
yipes.
Jane,
Yeah,
Jane, Jane, Jane.
gosh. All right, so now we're gonna get
We're going to go
another.
from implausible to continuing to be implausible.
Right. That was the struggle I had here. So Ben's going to go to Felicity and he's going to say, look, all those other reasons I gave you, they were reasons, but I don't want you to do this thing with donating the egg because you're going to see this kid. You don't know what's going to happen. It's so stupid. Stop putting other people's needs in front of your own. And he's getting pretty
Yeah.
upset about it.
Well, he says, like, what if you disagree about parenting? And Felicity's like, that's not going to happen. And he's like, but what if it does?
Yeah.
And I think he was, maybe it's just the order of the scenes, but I think he saw the pain that Molly was feeling by kind of putting this guy James in front of maybe her own needs or whatever. I think because he comes to Felicity saying, I went to this meeting,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've been thinking about this, egg donation. Like he puts it in the same sentence.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I didn't
And
pick up on that.
so, yeah, he kind of like he's getting mad. And I think because Molly is being so open and sharing, and I think he's just seeing some of these similarities and going, just stop doing this. I don't like that he calls it stupid. I don't think that's the most productive. But
He did
Felicity,
something like that with Julie once too, when she was looking for her birth mom and he got
yeah,
frustrated with her. It was like, you would do stuff, like it was just a
yeah.
similar energy to that.
And I think rightfully so. Felicity's like, what? Like, why are you getting so upset right now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening? And I guess my big thing is, like, he says, stop putting other people in front of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, he's also asking her to make the decision for him. So, like, it's sort of the same as Javier asking her to make the decision for him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Ben's not sitting here going, make the decision for yourself. He's like, I'm telling you not to do this. I don't want you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we end again with another shocked, thinking face.
Yeah.
More shocked, thinking faces.
And then we're gonna head to Dean and DeLuca, where Felicity's playing with the nephew again.
Uh-huh.
Javier comes in, he's like, my brother's okay with the baby idea now. Yay, because that matters.
Yeah.
And
He got him a present. He got him a baby Bjorn.
he had a few days to think about it and he's totally reversed position. It's great. Good stuff. We're feeling validated. Felicity's like, that's cool, but Ben and I fought.
Yeah.
And we're not comfortable. He's not comfortable. I'm also not comfortable with donating the egg. I didn't love that she threw it on Ben at first.
I mean, he is a big part of this. I mean, he's coming down. Like, I feel like this is honest from her perspective. Like, she's like, Ben's not comfortable. And I guess I'm not really, I don't feel she's 100% convinced that she shouldn't be doing this, but she's going to go with Ben on it.
Okay.
So
Javier's going to be, he's disappointed, but he's understanding. And he's saying, well, we do have that Smith College graduate who we will come to know as Patty. So we're going to pursue the Patty option.
Yeah. He's like, it's okay. But he's sad.
We do have that catalog.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we now head to study group.
Mm-hmm.
And Elena arrives late.
Probably for the first time in her life.
Yeah. And Tracy's there and some other guy who's studying, and then a whole bunch of other people. But Tracy and the main bro guy are what seems to be the most, leadership unit of the group there. And so they've been studying things already. Elena shows up, has no idea what they're studying, and she's that person who shows up late and is like, are we going to do circuits? Because they're supposed to be on the... How do you know that they weren't doing circuits already, Elena?
Because they said they were doing mechanics.
Yeah, Tracy's like, we're doing mechanics. You can go do circuits over there if you want to, but we over here are doing mechanics. It was so, yeah. A lot of tension.
Here's where he does a really great job of just, like, he's hurt and he's lashing out in weird ways.
This is a very weird way to lash out, yes.
Yeah. And everyone else is like, yeah, we're going to give you a minute.
We're just going to go over there for a second.
Is uncomfortable.
We're here to study mechanics, all right? So you guys, we'll give you 5 to sort this out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Elena is going to give Tracy her letter. He's he's looking annoyed, cold. I don't know. He's kind of a like, why do you have to be here in this room with me right now?
Well, okay, so two things. First, I would have to go back and watch this again to see if this was right, and I won't. So for anyone, is this a different color paper? I thought she was writing it on yellow paper, and then when
Oh
she
my
hands it
God.
to him, it's on white paper, and I don't know. I was just like, this is weird. Um, Also, this is where Tracy's face is just, I can't take it seriously. I just
Okay.
can't. Like, she hands him the paper. He hands him the letter. He leaves it on his desk and he just kind of like looks off into space. But I
Okay.
don't know, he's got like that expression on his face, or I'm just like, you're gonna smile and make a joke, aren't you? But he's not. He's
Oh
not gonna do it.
no.
No. Mm.
Well, unfortunately, that was an element that got added to the scene for you.
I know.
Gosh. Well, we're gonna have Felicity and Noel having a conversation here where Felicity is now just discovering all the nefarious deeds that Noel has been up to. She's like, "You stole her email password?
I know.
Stop it, Noel."
She's like, you have to tell her you can't lie. Oh, this poor girl. Um,
I like that she said all that stuff, but then she gets weird. Like, you're funny. No, this isn't funny.
well, he tries to justify it in this very weird way, where
Yeah.
he's like, okay, like I understand it was not right, but here's the thing. All the stuff that I said I liked, I've now tried and I like it.
Which is
So
false because he hated the Aboriginal dance, by the way.
that's true. Although he said he just didn't get it.
I didn't
So,
get it.
but it doesn't sound like he liked it.
No.
So he's saying, being sneaky made me a better person. Okay, first of all,
So, yeah.
sneaky, way like
It's
that
a light
is
word.
very light,
It's a light
very
lift.
light for what's happening.
Yeah.
And no, it didn't make you a better person. Incorrect. That's not okay. But then Felicity steps in.
You're funny.
You're funny.
Yeah. And then she turns it into this whole like, you underestimate yourself. You don't have to. You're so cool. Like, you don't need to try to lie to get a girl's attention. If anybody doesn't, it's you. It's like,
Yeah, remember when Richard said Sean wasn't Ben? Yeah.
yeah.
I feel
I
like
don't
this
know.
is a Noel isn't Ben situation.
And also, I don't know if this is your funny, like you could get any girl you want sort of way to button this scene if you're in a real life situation with somebody who's telling you they're going to this length. I think maybe stop down a little bit more on the you stole her email password. So stop
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Stop it. Let's unpack what's going on for you. like, I think, yeah.
I think she immediately reads like the reason he has done this is because of his deep-seated insecurities that have been coming out since season 1 in very toxic ways. And she is trying to assure him that he doesn't need to be so insecure. But maybe she should really say, like, your insecurity is creating just terrible traits in you.
Yeah.
This being one of them.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
normally you're such a good guy but right now you're a creep.
Right.
Okay.
When you get super insecure, you like say terrible things to me and we call you out all season 1 and then you need to like lean on Ruby and like bad things happen.
You go off of Hannah. Just slow your roll. No, yeah.
Think better of yourself so you don't actually become so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay. I hear you. I really do.
And then I also enjoy, the show is still making fun of itself. Javier just
Yeah.
walks in and is like, "This is Manhattan. Lock your door.
Yeah.
Lock your
Well, there's a
freaking
lot of
door."
the show nodding at itself here. Obviously, when they gave the writers an episode to watch, they gave them Love and Marriage. So Javier walks in, he's like, Smith College girl
Yeah.
wants to meet the daddy and the mommy.
Uh-huh.
There's your first sign. And then he gets a little more direct with Felicity. He's like, so can you be the mommy? And
Yeah.
Felicity's like, again?
I know.
Like, we have to be married. She's like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. No, 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 no. Not for a second time.
Cut to.
But yeah, they do it for a second time. Dan and DeLuca, Felicity and Javier are meeting with Patty,
Yeah.
who really wants to know about how much they love each other and why this is such a great relationship. And Felicity, first of all, I do enjoy Javier's mistaken word here, where he's trying to explain why they couldn't just have a kid themselves. And he's like, I'm omnipotent.
It's not for lack of love. He has a different problem with saying this word than Noel did.
He did. Yeah. I like how we have had two different characters try to claim this, and they do it in such different ways.
And
Javier's
neither succeeds.
gonna be omnipotent. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
But we're definitely I think we're getting a lot very quickly in this scene in terms of like, Patty has a specific set of values and there's a specific type of relationship she wants to support. And Felicity and Javier are very aware that what Javier has isn't it. What Javier and Samuel have isn't it. So this farce to be presenting a united front as the mommy and daddy is something Felicity is very uncomfortable with. She doesn't want to lie to this woman.
Yeah, and Patty says, I've been through this before, and the couple lied, and they said they were in this great loving relationship, and then the week before I was going to donate, they filed for divorce. And so it's like she clearly wants this like stable household. I wasn't sure whether Javier just assumed that she wanted like a heterosexual couple, or
if she actually said that,
or if she actually said it. But
it might have come across like, I want to meet your wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. The way it's presented to us and what we see from Patty later confirms that I guess there's a reason why Javier made that assumption in what she had said.
Also don't understand how the paperwork wouldn't need Felicity to like sign it. Because you'd probably need both parents to sign it. But
lies, lies and lies and more lies in this episode. So many lies.
So much lying.
Yeah.
And terrible lying. I mean,
a lot of really terrible
really
lying.
bad lying.
It's the last, was it the last episode or the one before that where you're like, it's about honesty? It's like, this is the opposite. This is all about lies.
I mean, it's about dishonesty, but they're really bad at it. Everyone is really bad at it. But I did enjoy this from Javier, who's like, I promise you, we will never file divorce. Couldn't happen. It's like, you will have a loving home in clubs.
Yeah. Felicity isn't comfortable to lie to this degree. So it looks for a second like she's going to tell Patty the whole truth. And then she reverses, or she sort of switches lanes and she says, look, Javier's just this amazing man. He's going to be a great father. He's my best friend. He's romantic. He's optimistic. Like, what a great person this would be to do this for. And all of that is something she feels like, even though she's misrepresenting herself, what she said she feels like is true. And, that's going to be how she sleeps tonight.
Yeah, because Patty clearly does not have a lot of experience with people unlike herself,
Mhm.
because no red flags are raised as Javier talks about his slimming Armani suit.
Mhm.
Um, and she's just like, okay, cool, 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 cool. You guys are in love. Totally see you two together.
Yeah.
No problem with this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go from Patty thinking that
To
to
Jane and Noel.
Jane.
Yep. This is like a two-part scene, really. So their first location, they're on a date eating food.
Noel knew
Jane's
just what to order. Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah. And Jane's going to be talking a little bit about this tricky person that Noel's been reading about, but she doesn't know. Apparently, he was like a brother until he started to want more.
Hmm.
She was thinking about it up until recently when
Yeah.
Noel entered the picture. So Noel's feeling probably pretty encouraged at this point.
Hmm.
And we are going to, so Jane's going to give him a kiss. Then we're going to head to Jane's apartment. And now they're really having a heavy makeout session.
In bed.
It's Jane's dorm, Jane's room, and they're at Jane's, they're making out on her bed. Side note, so I believe I don't know where I found this interview at one point, but there was an interview with Scott Foley, and it was one of those things where they asked you really, I can't remember what an interview was. At the end of the interview, the interviewer asks a handful of questions, and you can only not answer one of them. And so they ask these really dicey questions, and people feel like they have to answer like pretty controversial stuff. And Scott Foley was asked who the worst kisser was that he ever had to kiss on screen, and he
Mhm.
named Tyra Banks.
Oh.
I couldn't believe, because it didn't sound like a joke. And I think the way he softened it, but it really wasn't softened. I think he was like, she had just started acting. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is a question you pass on. You pass on this question always. My goodness. So whatever was happening in this scene, maybe Noel's the one that's
Yeah.
used to eating people's faces like hamburgers and he wasn't comfortable with. I don't know. I don't know what was happening.
I mean, it was a super awkward scene because, and maybe that was part of it, because they're kissing and he keeps saying like in the middle of it, and like trying to tell her what's happening while still trying to kiss her.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird scene
And this
because
had real apology to Natalie energy. Like, it's fall now sort of energy where he's like, remember I said hypothetically we might have a
yeah,
lot in common? I mean, the hypothetical is real. I mean, she's like, what are you even talking about, man? It took him a good long time to
yeah,
get to some sort of intelligible words.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but he does. He finally gets to, I kind of like sort of found your email password, and sometimes I read your email every day.
Every day. Yeah. Sometimes I read your email every day. Jane, again, I think there was a lot of potential. I want to see more from Jane outside of a relationship with Noel and Richard. Jane's like, what? No, no, no.
Yeah,
Stalker, get out of my apartment. I like when she calls him stalker. She says, get
yep,
out now. He's like, that's fair.
yeah. I wrote that down too. Because it's like he was kissing her, he was like trying to tell her the truth, he was trying to soften it and like make it okay, but he knew it wasn't gonna be. And yeah, he's like, yeah, that's fair.
I'm very glad that she knew her limit and she didn't She didn't try to excuse the situation. She didn't even want to
No.
listen. She had heard enough. She was
Yeah.
like, "You need to vacate
Yeah. Correct. I mean,
out of
but
my life."
I feel like this is a thing. Like, if you found out that all the weird things that you had been thinking are really weird are in fact weird for a reason, and you're like in bed with someone, potentially about to have sex with them, and they're like, "Oh, here's the thing." Like that's a very vulnerable position. Like I would be
I would
pissed.
be very, and she is.
Yeah,
I think that this is played pretty well, where she's
yeah.
just like,
She's
nope to the nope to the nope.
yeah,
Like, whatever,
like
however many
absolutely not.
powers.
We're
Yeah.
shutting this down. Get out now. Like
Yeah.
get out.
I'm pleased that she had those boundaries and she wasn't equivocating about
Yeah.
it. So, let's see.
We
We're going to
validate
have
you,
a baby
Jane.
shower at the apartment now.
I know. A baby like it's moving so
It's
fast.
moving rather quickly. It really
And
is.
Elena can't be there. So, they're gonna have a little, open her present up and say sorry. She's not here. Um,
Mhm.
Javier and Ben are gonna have a little tete-a-tete, and Javier's gonna say, "Look, I know about the fight. Like, I don't want to be a cause of anything. I mean, oh my God, it took me so long to get you guys together."
Yeah.
Um,
I think Ben, I like that he said, it wasn't about you. I mean, I think Javier and Ben have enough of a relationship here where it's like this wasn't about judgment. This was about like Felicity needs to not just rush into uh something with so much weight.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't explain it. He just says, like, it's not about you.
Yeah. And
And
I believe that he meant that.
yeah, absolutely. But I think
Uh,
it's also clear that he's like going after Molly. Like, Molly excuses herself to go in the other room, and Ben's like, "Look, it's not about you.
mhm,
Want a drink? I'm gonna go get
mhm.
a drink."
Yeah. And we're going to cut for just a moment out of this. We're going to come right back to that, but we're going to cut for just a moment to Patty at Dean and DeLuca looking for Felicity and Javier. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Gulp.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Now we're going to head back to the apartment, knowing that Patty's probably going to show up pretty soon. And we do end up seeing that conversation between Ben and Molly in the
Which
kitchen.
I'm having some problems with this.
What are your problems
So,
with this?
uh, Ben says, I know we're not supposed to talk about the stuff outside of meeting. And Molly's like, yeah, I'd rather not. That's not a thing. The whole purpose of Al-Anon is to meet other people, to exchange phone numbers, to talk to them outside of meetings, to have someone to call. The entire purpose of the group is to create this net for you. This is not therapy. This is not marriage counseling where they're like, don't talk about it outside. No, this is not a thing.
That's really good to know because I found myself wondering what is Ben supposed to do in a situation like this where he's concerned for Felicity in this
Um,
dynamic, or maybe
yeah,
concerned about Molly. But I think like, uh,
well, I just want to say like this part is like specifically not talking to other people who are in the meeting outside of the meeting
mhm,
is actually a big part of what Al-Anon is trying to do is
mhm,
create people you can talk to when you have a need to talk to them.
yeah,
And they encourage that.
mhm,
So like you know, whoever set this up, like whether the leader set this or whatever, this is not an Al-Anon thing.
okay,
And you know, Molly's like, I'd rather not talk about it. Like she could have just said, like, I'd rather not talk about it. And like, fine, Ben can kind of respect that or not, but the two of them are already in a meeting together.
yeah,
Like, so when he says there's something I need to know, like, are the drugs yours? Like, I do think it is okay for him to ask that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there is no rule about not talking
Well,
outside of
I'm
things.
glad to know that, because if you're in Ben's position, it's like, are you continuing to bring drugs into this apartment? If that's
Yeah.
like a concern, a safety concern, or anything for him, I would like to think that he could address that with Molly and actually do something about it rather than be like hamstrung here.
Well, he can address it with Molly.
Right, which is what
I
he's
will
doing, but
say,
she's trying to shut that down. So I found myself being like, well, what's he supposed to do? Like, is it doesn't feel, it feels like a trap then for him.
yeah, and this is why you're not supposed to bring your like NA and AA stuff in. You're not supposed
Mhm.
to bring like the other addiction issues. Um, you're not supposed to talk about like the addict's problems. This is like about healing and, you know, dealing, with people, like with yourself,
Mhm.
really. The focus is on the self.
So we'll head from this to this is the weirdest thing.
Well,
So,
before we do that, so Molly does say, no,
yeah,
it's they're not mine. The drugs are not mine, and I don't want to talk about anything outside of group.
okay. So we set that up. We're going to head back to the baby shower, which they make this really weird choice. So Sean's there. For a second, we see documentary style that he's filming, and then
Right.
they decide not to show us it in that way anymore, and they just show us the scene regularly with Sean holding a camera. I don't know why they went that way.
I know it's
Um,
weird.
it was a weird choice. So the there's a gift exchange that's happening. Javier is making a toast to his loving husband, and Patty walks in because, of course, the door is unlocked, and
Yeah.
Patty had just figured out where they were. And so she
Hmm.
comes in, she hears this, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
can't do it.
She's like, husband, and she's like watching them kiss
Mm-hmm.
and just turns around and walks out.
Yeah. So now Felicity is going to chase her out and catch up with her at the elevator. Patty said, I wanted the truth. Felicity, I did tell you the truth. He's great. They're both great. This would be a loving home. And Patty says, I'm from a small town in Iowa, and that's not my idea of family. Sorry, people in Iowa. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, this is Patty's worldview. She says goodbye. She just gets in the elevator and she walks out of their lives. Felicity had tried to convince her,
Hmm.
but I mean, there's an ideology problem here. So, I mean, I would also say, like, if Patty has that worldview, she should be able to, like, there should be like a mutual interview process that can happen here. I mean, she's making a big decision too. So, I understand that she's looking for something in particular. She wants to find it, and they misrepresented themselves on purpose. So it's a
Right.
really like, I mean, not loving Patty here, but I also think I don't love that they were lying.
Yeah, that's kind of where I thought it was going, was like, I don't want to, like, you guys lied, like the other couple lied, and I don't want to donate to liars. I did not see this coming, um, but it did. And
Yeah, they did go
so
there.
it went there. Um,
I mean, Patty, yeah, I, I do see, like you were raising earlier a really good point about like when they sign a contract,
yeah,
like whose signatures are on that contract, and she would know at that point, I would think.
I would think
I would
so.
imagine they would all like be there together to sign it, and then she'd be like, "Who's this guy, Samuel? Where's
Right.
Felicity?" But Felicity wouldn't be there to sign it because she really has nothing to do with the process, and legally, she's not going to bind herself into a lie. So I
Won't
think,
she, though? I mean,
yeah,
she was gonna marry Javier, so
she was, but she was, yeah. I mean, but this is like so many levels of not her life. It's
yeah.
just like she would have actually been married to Javier at that point. But this is like she's not going to be married to Javier. There's no circumstance
Yeah.
under which she'd actually be married. Like, so she'd be signing a legal document under false pretense, under completely false pretense.
Yeah.
Um, so
Also, I just want to say I can't remember exactly where this was said, but I think it was maybe when she was explaining like the medical process, but she was like, they're gonna harvest the egg and fertilize it, and then I think she said, and then put it put the egg into Javier's 49-year-old aunt.
40 something, yeah. It might have been 49.
That
That's
seems like
unrealistic.
a really, really, really high risk pregnancy.
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
why? What?
Yeah.
What?
Um, there are a lot of problems with what they're setting up here for Javier.
Yeah.
It's just that seems like a really, like you said, risky choice for
Yeah.
everybody.
I just
So
feel like this whole plot, like there are many things in this episode which I don't think were done particularly well.
yeah,
And this is just one of the many.
yeah.
I will just throw in that Megan has a fantastic shirt on.
Well, there's that.
There we go.
Let's head to okay, we're back in with Elena and Tracy stuff. So they've just had the test they were studying for, and leader guy
Mhm.
and Tracy are talking. Leader guy says to Elena, yeah, you were right. Circuits were all over that test. And then he walks away. Thanks for your contribution, sir. And Tracy lets her know, I did read the letter.
Yeah, and Elena asks, do you think there's any chance you can forgive me?
Hard pass.
Hard.
Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah.
Um, although the fact that she's written the letter, I mean, we're going to see also with the montage at the end, he's really sitting with that letter, but he hard passes on her when she
Yeah.
asks for forgiveness.
And he
So
doesn't do it in like a snarky kind of way. He just says, I can't, like, I can't forgive you.
yeah.
So,
Oh man.
yeah.
So that's what happens. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So okay, we're gonna head to Epstein Bar.
Now,
Richard.
this is where I feel like the title surprise should have come in.
Yeah.
This should have had a link to that episode, like surprise.
So there was specifically one line that I liked in this scene,
Oh.
and everything else was just disturbing. So Richard comes into final. He has got to talk to Noel.
Now, Noel is drinking, and I did like this little bit. The bartender comes over and gives him food, and it's ribs. And
Oh
Noel's just like, no, no, no.
no.
Like, I can't. Like, no ribs. I didn't order these. These are not my
Oh
ribs.
my God. Oh my God. Shout out to the prior episode.
Oh my God, it's funny.
So Richard comes in. He has a point to share, but first he's going to open with like, you know how I was Sean's hook for the Virgin is cult hero.
Yeah,
um,
it didn't work out, but
yeah, I really considered cult heroes as my unit of measurement. I was trying to figure out how to make this line work, but I didn't go there. Um, so I did like that. But then he's telling the story. I know this girl, this girl I've been into for so long. She
she's a
started seeing this other
celestial
guy.
being.
Mm-hmm. And she stands me up the other night. But it turns out the twist is that the guy is a fraud. And she runs to me, to my bed.
Crying in tears. She is
Mm-hmm.
running to me. And all I can say is thank you to the writers for not writing this scene in. So we do not actually have to see Richard like swipe his V card with Jane.
Yeah. Yep. So he reveals that he had sex with Jane. He's like, it was a pity thing, but I needed it. And Noel's sitting there. He's like, wait a minute, this story sounds
Yeah.
a
So it's
little familiar. So
probably
it's like,
familiar.
Jane who? And then we find out Jane Scott. But it's not just that we get the name reveal.
No.
Jane then arrives at
Yep.
Epstein Bar, and Richard's like, oh, you got to meet her. She's here. And I was like,
Yeah.
and,
He just sort of freezes. I like
yeah.
that. It's like where when we've all heard fight or flight. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's fight, flight, or
Freeze.
freeze.
Yeah.
And Noel is a freezer.
He's a freezer. So Richard introduces Noel and Jane. Noel is still frozen.
Yes.
Jane is shocked. And see, if you're Jane in this situation, you could be going as many levels as thinking, did these two work together to orchestrate this?
Oh my God. I don't think she sure. I think her head would explode.
Oh, that would make your head explode. In the best case scenario, this is just like, oh my God. I said a definitive goodbye to this creep, and now you're like really good friends with him.
Yeah, and
And
Richard's just like, this guy is the best.
yeah. So there's no situation here where this is good for Jane, but I think if I would go level 2 of suspicion here and be like, was this were you his wingman somehow? Like,
Oh God, I didn't even think that, and I'm the cynic.
it's upsetting. Yeah.
It's very upsetting.
There, even the best case scenario is still very upsetting. So that's just like brutal.
And yet, so when I saw Jane's reaction, because Richard's like, here's Noel. And Jane just turns to him and says, like, nice to meet you. And to me, I guess because she didn't have this bigger reaction and she doesn't say anything like, you're the creep and runs away.
Mhm.
Um, I thought she was going to give him another shot. Like she likes him.
No,
But you said she's not going to show up again.
this is it.
So
Yeah.
I
I think
guess
I don't remember ever seeing Jane
that's
again, and or even I don't even remember hearing Richard talk about Jane again.
so I
So
feel like this should have been a larger reaction.
yeah, it would make more sense if
This
she
is
was
not the
like,
correct reaction.
in fact, I think it would make the most sense if she got really angry at both of them, thinking the thing I just thought and left forever.
Or just left.
Yeah.
Just period left. Just be like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But she does
So
reveal, I mean, Richard reveals I'm tricky. She calls me tricky.
yeah, boy,
So
have
he's been
they.
tricky the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, all levels of disturbing. Wow. All
It's
right.
all kinds of levels of disturbing. So we're going to go back to group. Molly is getting her 1 month chip, which
Yes.
really means a lot to her, except she does have something to confess. She recently lied to somebody in her world.
That
She
she
said,
cares about.
mm-hmm, the drugs that he found, she said they weren't hers, but they were. Sorry, she lied.
Yeah, that's an NA thing. That's not an Al-Anon thing. Not only is it not alcohol related, it's addiction related. So don't bring that into Al-Anon.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, I'm sure it happens. I think it makes sense that she is waiting for him outside the meeting
Yeah.
to double check that, hey, this guy who's been to like 2 meetings ever, um, is in fact going to uphold the anonymous part of Al-Anon.
Yeah. She's like, now you can't tell Felicity, right? He's like, look, no, I won't tell her, but it's very awkward. Are you still bringing them into the apartment?
He's like, it sounds like from what you said, you are still bringing them into the apartment.
Yeah. Molly is going to hammer down on that one point that you disagreed with earlier. She's like, look, what I said in there is private.
Hmm.
Being in the group where this is what we do. We share these things. Being there means you're offering to help. You can't go back on that acceptance of that offer. Um,
Yeah, she's like, you being there is an offer to help. And me sharing my deepest, darkest secrets is me accepting that offer. And you can't go back on that. And this part I do agree with. Like, while she shouldn't have been sharing that other stuff in the meeting, she did. And whatever is said in the meeting, unless it's like, I'm about to, kill someone, right? At which point you call the cops. It is anonymous, and it's anonymous for a reason, because it's not just about him and her and their friends and stuff. It is about everyone who ever goes to an Al-Anon meeting. It is, if people can't feel safe sharing at meetings, they won't go, and this will not exist.
So if he knew that Felicity didn't feel comfortable with having drugs in the apartment, would he just then not tell her, but tell her to move out or invite her to stay at the loft?
He could do that. He just cannot say that Molly is in Al-Anon. I mean, it's not like a priest level thing where it's like, even if someone says they're going to kill somebody, like, the priest doesn't tell anyone.
Because this is gonna evolve, and it's gonna get more dangerous. And so Ben's gonna need to keep inspecting where this line is, because it becomes an unsafe situation for Felicity.
I mean, honestly, I think Ben should find another group if there is one. I think the two of them being in the same group is probably not the best idea.
The cat's out of the bag, though, already right now, because we're going to meet James soon. So it's already too far down the road to backtrack. Like, if there's a concern, there's going to be a concern that spirals.
He could say things like, I suspect XYZ of James, and I think this is unsafe.
I feel like it would be tricky to go to a meeting anywhere in your own location. Like, if I saw somebody that I knew, I would need to immediately leave, because whatever you like, it's just too complicated, I feel like.
I don't know how many people go to these meetings, but I would say probably millions. It affects millions of people's lives that they have these that are available. So I do feel the anonymous part is just really important for everyone.
Okay. So Felicity and Ben are going to connect. Felicity is wrapping a gift, and she's saying, I can't believe Patty wouldn't donate. It makes me want to help Javier even more, to be honest. And this is where Ben's going to get a little bit more the next layer of what he was feeling before. He's like, look, I think that this just upset me because you'd be willing to share yourself like that with somebody else. I guess he's sort of, for him, this was sort of like it fell into a murky area, almost like cheating, but he didn't know how to define it for himself.
Oh, see, I felt it was not the betrayal of cheating, I guess, but the idea of, like, you're going to have a child out there and it's not going to be with me.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing to look at. He says, look, that's my issue. I'll support whatever you decide. And Felicity backtracks and says, but no, you were right. This would be my baby. I'd see this baby. And I'm not ready to be a mom.
Yeah.
And Ben says, you know what? They'll have that baby, though.
I like how that ends that way, where he's like, they are going to succeed in this, even though apparently they're not.
They won't. They'll never talk about it again. But I like the sentiment, Benjamin. I appreciate you and your whole vibe. We're going to close with a montage.
We are, yeah. And I had a good song on this one. I don't know what song you had, but it was something like, Some of the lyrics were like, "You and me on an ordinary day."
Okay.
And it was just, then they start looking at everyone on, I guess, an ordinary day, although it doesn't seem ordinary for most of them.
Yeah. The montage, sometimes we've seen montage moments that felt more impactful for me. This was like Felicity gives Javier a duck towel. Tracy reads the letter again. Elena doesn't call Tracy, but wants to. Noel plays chess with the guy he met at the senior center.
Who I'm also assuming we never see again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Felicity and Ben watch a movie. End of episode. It was
I
like,
know.
what did you give us here? Okay.
An ordinary day, apparently.
Yeah, I suppose that's what that was. So
That was the whole episode,
that
people.
was it, guys.
That was the episode.
Fish.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know
Yeah.
who's the worst. Let's go to our "You're the Worst" segment.
That's very nice.
You have an embarrassment of riches here.
I do. And I actually made a decision and said something, unlike the last several times.
Okay.
Where I like didn't make a decision, and then the last time where I was so disgusted, I just
Yeah, you're like, you know who it is, okay? And I was like,
Yep,
oh my God.
pretty much. I'm not wasting time on this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this time, Noel, you're the worst.
Okay.
You have been creeping Melissa out for weeks now, and you've gotten away with it because I've been a little distracted by others, but no more. I agree with Felicity. Poor Jane. How dare you? Stealing her computer password, reading her emails, and then using it to seduce her? Gross. I'd say it's a huge invasion of privacy, and you absolutely should not do it. But you've already heard that from Elena and Sean and Felicity, maybe Molly, I don't remember, and yourself. And you did it anyway. Now I know it's Tyra Banks, and she's gorgeous and amazing. But Jane's a little dumb. And you're still married to Doritos chick. Leon would be so ashamed. There is a silver lining here. You couldn't actually go through with the full seduction. You told her the truth and ran away as she rightfully screamed stalker at you. But you drove her to tears and into another man's arms and into his bed and onto his penis. A penis owned by none other than Dick. Dick Code. Tricky Dick Code. President Tricky Dick Code. Yep. Noel, you were the worst.
Mm.
I know. That must have been validating.
That felt really good. No, you're the worst. I agree.
Yeah.
I think I've been very clear about my thoughts about this storyline.
Yes.
I just don't. I can't. So, the fish, it's time to get to our favorite segment.
Yay.
After you listen to this tape, you have to erase it.
Oh.
We have some fun ones. First of all, we have one for the last episode. So at insta.mickey shares, Felicity episode names are always there for more than one reason, but for surprises is amazing on this one. The birthday party, the frat party mess exposed, Sean's health scare, and the possibility of Richard being gay. I'm laughing out loud. And then separately, she says, I'm laughing out loud with you guys saying Ben was holding the picture around campus and asking what frat it was. I assumed the girls told everybody which party they were going to. In my mind, he knew. And oh my God, his reaction, he didn't even have the strength to fight. He just appeared fully disappointed.
Yeah.
Institut Mickey shares a number of good points. And I appreciated the take that Ben knew where to go because they had been like, we're going to Delta blah, 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 blah. and,
And we will meet a guy named Randy there who you will
yeah,
automatically know his name later.
or something like that.
Look, we appreciate people who apologize for the writing and the construction of the episodes because we do. We love it, and sometimes it doesn't really matter. Um, you know, it we appreciate the fan support.
Yeah. Now, we've had a few people weigh in on something that we were really unpacking recently about whether should Felicity have told Julie's mom that Julie dropped out. I may have overthought this because we got pretty consistent feedback. So from at Soraya E28, definitely agree that Felicity was right for telling Julie's mom. Julie was clearly upset when she left, and her mother should know what's going on with her daughter. Knowing what's going on helps Julie's mom in being there for Julie if or when she reaches out to her, as Julie clearly needs some support. Felicity is a smart cookie.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think we both agreed as well, which was if she thinks there's danger for Julie, then yeah, you reach out to someone like her parents, like especially if you can't find her.
Yeah, and that's echoed by at Angie Coder Kelly, who says, in this case, yes, Julie was in danger and needed her kind of friend.
I would argue that
Angie.
Felicity was a friend. I think Felicity here was definitely a friend.
I love
Um,
how that wasn't even the question we asked. And Angie just was like, yes, help, but I'm going to throw the tiniest bit of shade. um,
yeah,
I
yeah,
we love you,
fair.
Angie.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
And then at Ness, okay, I deeply apologize for how I am about to massacre your Instagram handle name. It's gonna happen, and I just hope that you'll either correct us down the road or just know we love
Forgive
you.
us. Just we can you possibly forgive us?
At Nesca underscore TJ.
I don't know how. I'm
Maybe,
not looking at it.
I don't know. So this person says it's so complicated to find the right thing to do in this situation, even more to someone as young as Felicity was. I think that at first, Felicity wants to be a loyal friend, not telling the truth to Julie's mom. Teenagers really do that. They show their loyalty towards friends, even when it means hiding big issues to parents. But then Felicity thinks about it that Julie really could be in a dangerous situation. And she calls Julie's mom an adult that can take good care of her friend. I think that right there, Felicity takes a big step in her journey to become a grown up woman. She was the more mature of the gang in this situation. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's true. Teenagers certainly do hide a lot. Um, and when you get older, you don't have to tell your parents or anyone else things that you don't want to. But I think the fact that like Felicity knows that Julie has a decent relationship with um her parents. So I think it would be different if like Felicity knew that, you know, Julie's adoptive mom was like super manipulative and like would be the last person that Julie should be exposed to if she's like not doing well, and she has these like barriers up where she or these boundaries where she doesn't like tell her parents certain things like that. I think is a different situation.
Yeah, I mean,
um
I think there are lots of different situations I can think of here. I mean, if again, I think if there's a concern that Julie herself is in danger here, then that's, if you're thinking it was, she could be suicidal, like I think any of that adds a context to it. If, for example, you think Julie's pregnant and there go in trouble, that doesn't feel like a thing you talk to the parents about. It feels like that's something that Julie should be telling. So I do think it's context dependent, but I appreciate that pretty much everybody we've heard from has come down on the same side of this, that in this situation, it was the right thing to talk to Julie's mom.
Yep.
So interesting stuff. I appreciate all of you. This is something I was really looking at really closely and getting some definitive thoughts.
Yeah,
so
you got your answer.
I did, yeah. So Fish, it's time for us to rate this episode.
I went first last time, didn't I?
You might have. I'll go first this time.
Okay.
I measured this one in Aboriginal dances.
Okay.
I had options.
I mean, that's such a nice thing to rate this episode in.
I thought
I'm assuming there won't be many of them, but still, it's a nice.
There were some random things that were options here, but I like dancing, so Aboriginal dances is what I went with. That's where the pleasantness stops. 2.5 out of 10 Aboriginal dances.
Yeah.
Why 2.5? Well, I rated up from a 0 on this one by factoring in Elena and Tracy stuff, because I think the Elena and Tracy stuff was very rooted. We've seen the whole progression into this. We will see more come out of this. What I saw felt true to me in this episode. I thought that Donald Faison did a really good job of just being icy and totally shut down and showing us a very different side of himself with Elena. So I thought that stuff was really strong. So I wanted to give this episode something, but for the life of me, of all the things you could pick to talk about, this storyline doesn't resonate as a thing they would have explored, or that Felicity should have explored or would have been exploring in this situation, especially as a one episode plot line for a major life decision that shouldn't come out of nowhere for anybody. So had they been building into this for a while, it would have made more sense to me, but they weren't, and they're not going to build out of it. And they just wanted to give us like here's what it looks like when you do this. And it doesn't make sense to me with where we are in this show.
Yeah, I do kind of appreciate that they didn't build in and out of it, though, because I didn't like the storyline.
Yeah, I hear you. What did you think about it? Or the episode in general?
So here's the thing. I clearly did not like the last episode. But it was for very different reasons, right? Like, I hated that episode probably because they wanted me to hate that episode, right? I mean, they were trying to elicit just feelings that weren't pleasant to experience. So you can do that very well. It's just, I'm not going to give you a high rating because I don't want to experience those things. Yeah. This is a very different type of episode that I don't like, because, I mean, while, yes, I don't think they've done any good things for Al-Anon here. Generally speaking, I just really didn't care about most of this episode. Okay. I thought it was kind of boring, and I wasn't interested, and I'm even less interested now that I know that we will never see a baby or Jane or Howie or whatever that guy's name was again. Like, we will just never see any of these people. So it's really hard to care at all about this. I guess I give it some credit for the Tracy Elena stuff, even though I couldn't really take Tracy so seriously. And I am glad that they're going to continue, something with Molly. I'm very interested to see who James is. So they've at least piqued my interest there. So I mean, I feel bad that I'm rating all these episodes pretty low, but I think I'm gonna have to stick with a 1, but for like a very different reason.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not good. I presume that will be our lowest rated episode ever. I mean, I can't think of another
for both of
episode.
us.
Yeah, as an average. I think I can't really think of one off the top of my head where I feel as much disregard as I do for this. In the future, I mean, there's episodes that I don't think are strong, but I think this also carries the weight of like what happened? Why all is this? Why is this all happening? Which to me is always a problem. I think for those who have been listening to all of these podcasts, story matters to me, and story construction matters. And yeah, I think, did I need to tell you that you'll never see a baby and you'll never see Jane again? No, I did that out of spite. Because I knew it would factor in for you.
It definitely worked.
But if you're me watching this back, it's like you see all this stuff that's being like brought to light, and then it's going nowhere. So it's just hard. It's hard, guys. We enjoy the show. We just didn't enjoy this episode.
And I don't have a problem with bottle episodes if there's if the episode is done well. Yeah. And I think that's like a fundamental difference between us. If I had no problem with Help for the Lovelorn, right? Because I thought it was done well.
Yeah.
But this episode, it wasn't funny. It wasn't engaging. There was no particular plot that I was like, ooh, that's super interesting. So they could do bottle episodes where I would be like, that's so hilarious. This is funny and wonderful or thought-provoking, and they just didn't. It just didn't happen.
I hear you. Well, folks, are you agreeing with us? Can you not stand for it? How are you feeling about this episode? Maybe you totally disagree and you want to get your thoughts out there. Send us your feedback. Tell us, are we off the mark? Are we on the mark? Where are we in relationship to the mark? Feel free to share that with us. TheMelissaFish@gmail.com. That's Melissa with 1 L, 2 S's. TheMelissaFish@gmail.com. You can also join the conversation happening with lots of cool Felicity fans over on our Instagram @Felicity Podcast. And if you want to know when we drop a new episode of the podcast, you don't want to have to guess. You're like, I just want it to be predictable. Then feel free to sign up for our newsletter. We drop one every time the podcast itself drops. And you can find a link for that wherever you're listening to this podcast. Check your show notes. There's a link to sign up there. While you're there, while you're doing that, go rate and review us if you can, because, it just helps other people who love the show Felicity to find long form content, find the community, maybe be your friend. Who knows? All right, Fish. Next episode is called James and the Giant Peace. What do you think? Peace. Piece.
Ah, okay. Because it makes a difference. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Well, that's an innocuous title for something that is probably very not innocuous. Mm-hmm. So I guess we're going to.
They thought they'd conjure up some Roald Dahl.
Yeah, who can be super disturbing, yes. But that's not the most disturbing of his stories. It's not great, but it's not the most disturbing. So I'm guessing we meet James, given that he's name dropped, and his piece, which I am assuming is his gun, not his penis. So I think James shows up with a gun. And then Ruby comes in with her baby and kicks his butt. Baby Bjorn, just strapped to her chest, comes in, knocks the piece out of his hand, and ends up sitting on him for the win.
Like goo goo gaga kick.
Yep.
And then the gun flies up. So to be fair, just
no,
looking at the
wait,
episode,
her baby doesn't beat him up. The baby is strapped to her chest while Ruby beats him up.
But I think it's even better if the baby
if the baby beats
the piece out of hand. It's weird because looking at the episodes coming up, what you're describing feels like it's not the next episode, but with the title, clearly seems to be that episode.
I mean,
I would have thought it would have been 2 episodes from now, but the part where Ruby's baby comes back and
right. That part.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
look,
I haven't done great with guessing, but I feel like this one is telling us something. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to follow through with that, because I mean, I have been guessing all season that Ruby's coming back, and not once has she.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we will see whether it will be promises unfulfilled yet again.
I am really questioning whether we actually meet James next time, which is the weirdest thing. But the storyline you're predicting is a storyline we're going to see. So it makes a whole lot of sense that it would match with that title. We'll see what goes on. It could just be that the episode descriptions are too lean, but that's fine. So
I mean, with the title like that, you would think it's in the description.
He's not. It's not. Huh. He's not even named. Huh. So. But I'm pretty sure we meet him next time. So, all right.
Because it's called James.
It has to be, right? So, it's just that the episode descriptions don't actually shout him out into the following episode. And I probably should not be misdirected by that, because look at how many times the episode descriptions have failed us in the past.
It's true.
I'm overthinking this. You're overthinking this. Okay. So, yeah. Well, Fish, anything else we want to say about this one?
Nope. Hard no.
Okay. Well, until next time, Fish, don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
I'm a fish.
Bye.